Hello, I hope you're all well. I don't normally film these sort of booktubey monthly wrap-ups, but you know what? This month I've read some fiction that I really enjoyed and I'd like to share it, so I thought I'd just give it a go. The first book I read was a reread from when I was a child, basically, or a teenager, and it was Neil Gaiman's Neverwhere. It's a book that I don't know, I must have been like 14, 15 when I read it the first time, and I just adored it. So it was a huge pleasure to come back to that, especially because it's set in London, and now I know London much better, so I could appreciate some of the puns even more. And also, I had this really gloriously illustrated edition which was so beautiful. It made the reading experience even better. It was a joy to hold that book even just as an object. I definitely recommend to read Neverwhere if you haven't, and especially to pick up this edition. The next book, again, I thought was just marvelous, and it's this short book by Ian McEwan called On Chesil Beach. I've never read anything by him before, so I just wanted to try something, and I'm definitely gonna be picking up some more of his books because this was just so lovely, so funny. It is about a young couple in the early 60s in England who just got married, and now they're about to have their wedding night. And it was very upfront about it, but not distasteful, which I really appreciated. I thought it was hilarious. But you also get a glimpse into their lives and how they met, etc. So it's this very sort of fragile character study or social study, but as I say, hilarious as well. I noticed on Goodreads that some people hated it, but it won me over totally. Then I read Grace Notes by Bernard McLaverty. I do not know this author. I think he's from Northern Ireland, and that's also where the book is set. I have to say I picked it up purely based on the cover, but ended up really enjoying it as well. It's written in a sort of stream of consciousness style. The protagonist is a young woman who comes back to her home in Northern Ireland after her father died. This was sort of jumping in time very freely, but it wasn't like confusing. It was exactly as if you're in someone's mind, because that's what your thoughts do. And I just really liked how it was executed. It's one of those books that doesn't have an awful amount of outward action. It's mainly the thoughts inside, but still it was really dynamic and it sort of sucks you in. And I started one more novel, but I'm only 100 pages in, and it's A History of Loneliness by John Boyne. It says on the back, which is what sold it to me: anyone who wants to know what happened in the Irish Catholic Church needs to read this brave, righteously angry and stunning book. And I was like, yeah, I totally want to know what happened in the Irish Catholic Church. Didn't know I wanted to, but now I think I do. This book definitely seems to be slower than the other ones I talked about, but so far I'm liking it as well. But I also read a lot of like different other stuff. Something was for school, but wouldn't recommend it to a normal person. I also read some plays, and one that particularly stood out to me is by Lucy Kirkwood, and it's called NSFW, which is an abbreviation of Not Suitable for Work. And it is partly about a men's magazine and partly about a woman's magazine. It's a lot about body image and like selling sexual images in these magazines. It's quite bold, but also very like intelligent, a very clever dialogue. Definitely one of the most interesting plays I've read in a while. I also read a peculiar one. It was called One Under by Winsome Pinnock. And that one was, I wouldn't say perfect, but really disturbing. So if you're after something really weird, this is a play about a train driver. Someone commits suicide jumping under his train, and it gets weird. That's all I will tell you. And I also listened to an excellent podcast. You might have already heard about it because it's very, very popular. It's called S Town. It starts with an investigation of a possible killing, but then it changes into something else. And that's all from me today. Please tell me if you know any great podcasts. And have a great rest of the day. Bye!